the incident with you and Goldberg on Nitro back in 1998, and Eric Bischoff leaving comments about it. Do you look back on that and kind of think that's what happened? That was the situation. No. How do you look back on it now?
Kenny, if you go on, find anything about, you'll never see me change my side of the story of that. I've done interview after interview of it. I've left out always. There's a key part to this that could solve all this, and that is the agent, the producer who did that, who was part of that match. And if you listen to my side of it, I was told exactly what to do. Somehow Bill was there, and Bill has somehow forgot that. I was told to go out and have the match that I had, and for the time that I had, and I tried to have a match, and Bill froze up. And now Bill obviously doesn't want to admit I like Bill, right? I've got nothing against him. I found out this years later, after when his book come out, somebody, because I never read his book, somebody came up to me and said, "Have you read what Goldberg?" I said, "No." Well, because I'd seen Bill loads of times after that, and we were always got on good. And I really liked him because I got on good with him. He seems to forget that there was times when me and Dave Taylor were down at the power plant, and I always helped him. And he helped me out once as well. When I was in a bit of a state one night back years ago, I remember he put me to bed one night and looked after me. But for whatever reason, and I can imagine you imagine Bill coming into this and then getting all of this thrown at him. I can imagine his memories of it it's just overwhelming what he went through, right? And there's all these things, and I can see how he can look at it in a different way. I've also had mutual friends of ours, and I've told them, look, give him my number and let's just talk about this, because it's ridiculous. I did exactly as I was told. Unfortunately, Bill froze up in the match. There's only so much I could do. The one mistake that I made was not going home early, because he had never had more than a 90-second match, right? And I was told I think it was 6 minutes, and it was 6 minutes. I don't know if we quite made it to 6 minutes. I was told to have a competitive match. The reason I know this is 1998. They were bad years for me, middle of 97 through 98, bad years. But I had sobered myself up over Christmas, and I was completely clean and sober on that night, and had been for several weeks. So I remember it very well. And then we come out, and there was a lack of communication a lot of the times in WCW. We came out, I did my best to get Bill through. I was told to have a competitive match with him, and more of it, to make it look good for Bill, that he could actually do stuff. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, either he's forgot this or whatever. But the agent told me that. I know that because I've spoke to that agent recently and said, look, are you ever going to tell this story? Because I'm the one who has to keep answering this question, and I've answered it for 20 years, and I've left your name out of it. Anyway, and he said, yeah, you did exactly as I told you to do. Well, it's about time I'm not a grass. I'm not going to say, if he's not going to own up to it. I understand Bill's part of it. I don't understand why this agent hasn't spoke up over the years, or maybe nobody's ever asked him to say it out loud. I did as I was told. I got in there, Bill froze up. If you have half a clue, this is another thing I've offered to do, is to sit with Bill and watch it, and he can pick anybody who he trusts, who knows about wrestling, to sit with me and show me where I took any liberties with him. I'm just doing pro wrestling stuff. I'm not hitting him any harder than I hit anybody else. He says, I kick him in the head at one point. Wait, yeah, but I know how to kick people safely. That's my style of wrestling, right? That's the style of wrestling I come from, right? I didn't kick him in the head. It might look like I did, but I didn't. And I hate saying that because I give my tricks away, and it bothers me because I like to keep my mistake about certain things. People think I'm good at whatever, but there's certain things I don't. But we came out. Eric Bischoff came screaming at me. The agent's there. I'm waiting for the agent to go, actually, that's what I told him to do. And here's another thing. If they were that bothered, after a minute or so of this not looking the way they wanted it, why don't just go to break? I was doing this set time. These are all things that people never seem to think about. You have a timesheet of how long the match is before they're going to go into they can go into a commercial break early, but they're not. They're going to go after, and I give them the 6 minutes that I was told to give them, right? And so I there's nothing in there that people go, oh shit. It's like, oh, you have no idea, because I'm putting them in pro wrestling head scissors and stuff, and actually, so again, if you actually watch it or have half a clue, it's embarrassing when people say this stuff, because it means they really don't know what they're talking about. I have offered to sit and watch this with Bill, whoever, but the agent, Eric Bischoff, come and screaming at me, and I just take everything on the chin. It's another thing, no matter what's ever happened in my career, except for the time when I wasn't in my right mind, because of, well, this night I was. And I said to Eric, I said, I'm sorry, Eric, but I can't hit myself. That's the line that I said. I can't hit myself. What do you want me to do? He wasn't, and Bill's right there. I can't. And I'm just looking at the agent, waiting for him to say, well, calm down. Say, well, I told him to do that, because whatever happened, there was some miscommunication. This is what I was told to do. This particular agent didn't just put his head in his papers and didn't say anything. Right? So I just took it on the chin. If Bill, I'm saying this right now, if Bill wants to do this, I will sit with him, and he can pick whoever he trusts who knows about wrestling, and show me where I took any liberties with him, who knows anything about wrestling. And then it'd be nice if the agent who actually was there, and I've seen him recently, why don't you just tell that your side of it? So at least there'll be some kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Whether Bill wants to believe it after that, that's up to him. But the best thing is if we watched it together, and if he wants to take somebody like The Undertaker or somebody like that, who I would imagine Bill, knows he's not going to give him any nonsense, and watch it and go, right, and where's these liberties? Where's this? Because it didn't happen. I tried to get a match out of somebody who froze up, and then finally we got to the finish. This might offend Bill. If I wanted to take liberties with Bill wouldn't have walked out of that ring. Because that's one thing I know how to do if I want to. And there is not one other example in America of me doing that with anybody. So why is it all of a sudden that if I'm going to do it, why am I going to do it with Bill? And anybody who said that, it's because they've made this nonsense up about me. You never hear me saying that. I don't claim I'm anything, but I certainly know I could have messed him about something fierce if I'd have wanted to. Go back and watch it, and you'll see me trying to put him in head scissors and put him in, and he's just not doing anything. So I'm having to. But I can't. That's what I do. I hit people hard in safe places, but there's nothing dangerous. There's nothing, and that's it. It's about time this all got sorted out. And the reason being, I don't care if Bill, because I've seen Bill loads of times. He said never ever said anything to my face. I don't know why. So he goes. He blows off about this, and he never says anything to me when the times we've been in each other's presence, which haven't been a lot, but there were plenty of times after that for a few years, because I went back to WCW, don't forget, a year later, 1999, and I saw him quite a bit. Never said a word about it.